Rolling Stones, Angie. You're listening to English Harbour Radio 93.5 FM. Now, with me in the studio now is Ricky Santos, president of two youth football clubs here, Generation Next and Wadadli Strikers. And he's been telling us a bit about how he set up those clubs and the ethos behind that. But actually, cricket, Ricky, is your favourite sport, correct?
That is, I'm proud to say that I'm a West Indian fan. However, not so proud as to how they're doing, but...
Well, we don't need to get into that.
Yes.
Now, you're also an ambassador for sports and sports tourism. What does that involve exactly?
Well, it's about developing the sport, not only locally, but regionally, trying to establish contacts and bringing it together, just like what we've done with the Youth League. Our aim is in a very short space of time, is to have an international tournament here, where we'll have teams from the United States, the UK, Europe, the rest of Europe, that is, and Canada. We have already brought down one such club, a university club.
Really?
Yes, and that happened in June last year. And they came down here and played a series of matches. It wasn't really a tournament, but we had arranged for them to, just as a starting point to get things going. We are always finding different avenues and so forth as to how we can develop our youngsters here, how to expose them, because once they're exposed, there is a lot of talent here. Of course, one of the things that are lacking is the facilities, the proper facilities. So I'm very pleased to see that the Antigua and Barbuda Football Association has created that avenue in terms of football. In terms of cricket, of course, we have the venue, we have the Sir Vivian Richards Cricket Stadium.
Yep.
What I would like to see, to be honest, is instead of having several community projects around the island, you do one proper facility that you can afford to maintain and share it around the community.
So like a multi-sports facility?
A multi-sports facility.
Okay. Instead
of doing several all over the island, do one in strategic positions. That's really and truly what I would like to see. And based on that, what we are actually starting up is called the GN Trust. We're just getting it incorporated, which will be a non-profit organization, and all revenues derived from that will be put back into the youth sports in particular. And we're sidetracking it a bit because I'm the president of St. Anthony Secondary School, so I do have a passion for education of the youth. So as a side part of the GN Trust would also be for education. So we're just formalizing. It's in the infancy stages right now, so that is coming along. As we're talking about cricket also too, we have been at Generation Next approached by the West Indies Cricket Board to set up a youth cricket league.
That's exciting.
Which they were from the under-7s actually. They wanted to do it from the under-7s through to the under-19s with 2-year gaps in between. We were supposed to start in September of last year. However, because we didn't gather all the information and the notice was short, we had to put it off. They wanted me to start it now, but because the Youth Football League is going on, and you're going to have crossovers of kids, because let's face it, from under 11s come down, a child really doesn't know what sport they really enjoy. As they get a little older, then they go into the sport that they really have a passion for. So we are hoping to start it now in September of this year. So everything is already formalized. It's just doing the logistics in terms of the fields and so forth, because most of the fields here are multi-purpose use.
And did they choose Antigua because of our strong kind of cricketing traditions, or because they see what a great job you're doing with the football, do you think?
Well, that's kind of embarrassing. I would like to think, because what they told me they really were impressed with the Youth Football League.
Oh, well, that's
and they
great.
wanted something similar to that. So I of course, I readily agreed. My passion actually is the youth. Mm-hmm. My sport of choice is cricket, but my passion is the youth. I'm at Generation Next and Wadadli Strikers. I'm at every practice. I'm at every match. However, for the upcoming league, because we're playing it at 3 different locations, it's going to be very trying for me to go and watch my team play all the time.
Yeah.
So somebody's going to have to pay the sacrifice. Mm-hmm. But like this week, I'll probably spend most of my time at the younger ages. Next week, I'll try and do the older ages, spend more time with them, so that I like to be where they are.
You mentioned education there briefly before, and obviously in addition to learning the sports, they learn lots of other things as well. Team sports, team building, those kind of things. What else do you think they benefit from it? How do they benefit?
Well, I think what it is because our club is made up of a wide cross-section of the community. We have kids from the very privileged backgrounds to actually kids from humble beginnings, all intermingling, and more so even in the league. That you have this vast amount. You'll have, as I said, over 700 kids there. So a camaraderie will build, friendships will be made, and it's a wonderful experience. And I'm inviting the general public and of course yourselves to come and witness this event. Yes, you have some little altercations because there's a lot of males, there's a lot of egos.
Right.
So you may have one or two little things, but we always step in right away. We have some good referees, and they keep them in tow. So, but all in all, it's a wonderful experience. Every week, I actually look forward to going to it.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, and at the back end, every week we post on our Facebook pages and all our social media, Instagram, Google Plus, Twitter. We post the standings of the matches in all the divisions, the goals, the scores that took place in the various matches, and every 3 weeks we post the top goal scorers.
It must be wonderful seeing the children progress as well. Do you think we have some budding Maradonas and Pelés?
Well, I would like to single out one particular kid that happens to be part of Generation Next,
Okay.
Raekwon Ralph. When he first came to Generation Next, he was 7 years of age. He basically had no interest in the sport, and he obviously had an innate talent that came out. And I would dare say that he is going to be a professional player.
Oh, really?
He's so talented.
Wow, so
and
watch
he
this space.
Yes, and he's just naturally gifted. And I'm proud to say that we have brought that out in him. Of course, you have another youngster from Villa Lions, Ronaldo Flowers, who is also a talent, but he's a little older. He's I think 13, 14 in that age category. But they have some serious talent here. But it's a matter of exposure and getting the proper facilities for them to play on. And I'll tell you why the facilities. Because all our fields here are multi-purpose use. And because of my interaction with the international clubs, by playing the two sports on the same field without proper preparations, it's damaging the development of both sports and both players of both sports. I remember speaking with the same question I posed to all the international coaches that have come down here, and the same responses I got is that, well, if our kids are playing on a field that's bad, when they go on a field that's good, they will play excellent.
Right, yeah.
And they said, no, it don't work that way.
Right. Oh, really?
No, you said, because, like, for instance, in football, if you're taking 2 and 3 touches to control a ball because of the odd bounce of the field, the pitch, when you go on a proper field, you have to control it in one bounce, or somebody will take the ball away from you. So you're expecting it
Okay.
to take 2 and 3 bounces, and when it's really and truly, you should control it in one bounce.
Now, it's not just boys you do teach girls as well, so it's obviously no longer an all-male sport. Tell us about that. How many girls are involved there?
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, I have to say that the participation of the females, part of it is not what we really would like, because there are lots of scholarships in the United States for the females. In our club, for instance, we only have about 3 females.
Okay.
But what we do in the league as an encouragement to try and get them to participate, because we would have liked to have created a female division, but there's not enough female players.
And why do you think that is?
I think it's because we are still a bit of a chauvinistic island. So we still
Surely not.
we still seem to think that football is for male. And because it's a male-dominated sport, for some reason the females don't get involved. Or maybe it's also because parents don't see football as a female sport too. So it's a combination it's a part of our culture. I think that is going to change, and I hope it does quicker rather than later.
Yeah, because in the rest of the world, I mean, girls are, they're really getting into it, aren't they? In North America especially, there's some amazing female players.
Yeah, there are. Yeah. And there are some good female players that I have witnessed in our club. That they have the talent, but they need to play with the females, because that's why we allow them to age down 2 years, because they have the talent, but to play with because it's a physical sport. Mm-hmm. A 15-year-old girl playing with a 15-year-old boy does not physically have the strength to stand the pushing and the tugging. So we allow them to age down by 2 years as a way to encourage them come into the sport. Because it's good for them. Or going to any sport. The West Indies cricket females are doing really well.
So if there's any girls listening or any parents who are thinking of sending their girls, what else do you want to say to encourage them to come down?
I would say come ahead down. As I said, our club, and we've passed that same mantra onto the Gomez Netherlands Insurance Youth Football League. Our mantra is development, participation, and enjoyment. So regardless of talent, regardless of sex, you will play. And we enforce that too.
Now, tell us a bit about who you've got helping. Who are the coaches? Are they all volunteers?
No, our coaches, our academies are paid academy.
Okay.
Of course, we do give some scholarships, but that we don't advertise, to be quite frank. Because, if one kid finds out another kid is on a scholarship, then there may be some unfortunate banter that will take place there. So we don't advertise the scholarships, but we do give scholarships out. It's a holistic development that we have in our organization, in Generation Next and Wadadli Strikers. We have our community outreach program where we collect used and new items, like Stoke City, for instance, sent down 15 football boots for us. We gave it out in the community.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, so it's different avenues that we have, and as I told you about the GN Trust. So we are trying a holistic development of the youngsters of Antigua and Barbuda to put them in an environment where they can develop into good citizens in the future.
And do you see them change emotionally?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I particularly take it as a challenge when you see one kid or two kids that are there that are misbehaving, to say
right,
they're mischievous. They're children, and they can change, and that's my take. So I would personally sit down with them one-on-one and talk them through it. If they're misbehaving in the fields, our coaches are instructed to have them benched, in which they're going to, but they're not allowed to walk around. They have to sit down and watch their friends play.
Right.
And then so they're benched for like 5 minutes, and then they come back in. If there's another infraction, then it goes to 10 minutes.
Okay.
So, but they have to sit down and watch their friends play.
So teaching some good discipline there.
Exactly. And then I would get involved and I would speak to them. If there's an altercation between two, I'll bring both of them together without being partisan, and they have to shake hands.
Okay. Oh, that's
and
nice.
make up.
Now, you mentioned before it's a very expensive operation to run. How is it all funded?
It's all funded by sponsors.
Okay.
And just to answer your question, which I didn't actually answer, we have a total of 7 coaches between the two clubs.
Oh, right, yeah.
And they're all paid coaches. On the 16s, we have Desmond Ziekobloer, who is just being actually promoted now, and he's the Chief Operation Officer of the league. On the 15s, we have Ken Pennyfeather of Harbour's. On the 13s, we have Stephen Papa Joseph. On the 11s, we have Vincent Nabu Samuels. On the 9s, we have a former Generation X Hall of Famer who's now a coach, a certified coach, Jonathan Thorogood. And on the 7s, we have Shakimba Yaya Williams, who is the captain of Empire, one of the most famous clubs. And for the Wadadli Strikers, because we've only just started that in September of this year, for the southern part of the island, which is when we are based in the Falmouth cricket field, we have Nigel Skinny Graham, who plays for English Harbour, actually.
Okay, excellent. You're obviously very passionate about what you do. If you could achieve one thing for Antigua and Barbuda's youth sports scene, what would it be?
It would be to get the facilities up and running, proper facilities for the kids, not only in football or cricket. I'd like to see, for instance, the basketball players playing on a proper surface rather than playing on concrete.
Okay.
The volleyball arena the Volleyball Association has done a wonderful job, and they have a nice arena there, which we were privileged to use for our indoor league, which we just completed our second year of that. But I'd like to see the other sports, and netball seems to be a sport that's not going anywhere right now, and bearing in mind that Antigua at one time had the number 2 player in the world.
Did it really?
The shooter, yes.
I didn't know
Karen
that.
Joseph.
Okay.
So that's another sport. I'm proud to say that I'm assisting Paul Curson in getting rugby started, and that should be interesting, because rugby, as you know, the rugby 7 is now an Olympic sport. So there are opportunities.
There
are opportunities for the youngsters. And I don't know the sport of rugby, but I had the privilege this summer while I was on vacation in the UK.
Oh, yeah, very popular.
Yes, and as I said, it's nothing like football in terms of respect for the referees. As a matter of fact, in the rugby, I don't even see the sense for a referee, because everybody just obeys the rules.
It can be a violent old game. So, final question: if there any parents are listening and they're thinking about getting involved, why should they do that, and how can they do that? What are your contact details?
Okay, well, we would encourage them to join any football club that's closest to them. Of course, our preference would be for them to join our club. They can either contact myself at 720-6741. They could send an email to info@generationnextfc.com, or they can contact us through our Facebook page, or Twitter, or Instagram, or Google Plus.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Anything else you want to add at all?
No, but just basically to encourage everybody to come out and watch all the youngsters that will be on display playing the sport they enjoy in the upcoming Gomez Netherlands Insurance Youth Football League. And if I may, can I just thank our sponsors?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank the sponsors for the Youth Football League. We'd like to thank, of course, the platinum and title sponsors, which is Kenneth A. Gomez and Sons and the Netherlands Insurance. We'd like to thank our gold sponsors, A.S. Bridens and Sons, agents and sole distributors for the Milo brand and Blue Waters. We'd also like to thank the Hadid Group of companies, Hadid Motors, agents for Nissan and Suzuki vehicles, Caribbean Premium Motors, agents for Hyundai, and Antigua Masonry Products. And we'd also like to thank Guardian Insurance for being a sponsor. In terms of our clubs, if I can just run through them quickly, we'd like to thank our platinum sponsor for Generation Next, which is Automotive Art, our gold sponsor, which is Frank Wall Limited, the Candyman, our silver sponsors, Kenneth A. Gomez and Sons, and Island Photo. For Wadadli Strikers, we'd like to thank our platinum sponsor, North Coast Hardware, our gold sponsor, Antigua Cargo, and our silver sponsors, Carpet Gear here in English Harbour, and Tongue House Megastore. Without all of those sponsors, of course, none of this what we discussed today would be taking place.
And what a great memory you have for remembering them all there, right on the spot, in front of a live microphone. Well done. Thank you so much for joining us, and it starts this Saturday, 9 o'clock.
Saturday, 9 o'clock,
go down and
at
watch.
3 locations.
Yeah.
The new ABFA AstroTurf at Painters, Police Grounds, on the Sydney Walling Highway, and at the Seaview Farm football field.
Okay, well, we hope to see you there.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much indeed.